Hi, this is Shanker, and here going to talk about, you know, a lot of questions come to me, a lot of queries come to me, where people want to know about what is the what is the impact of A, combust planets, B, retrograde planets, and 3, debilitated planets. And in astrology, these three planets have a great impact um, on the way we have to predict. And it is important that these three things are done in a way uh, which you have understood by your experience. But here I would tell you the things which I've understood by my experience. Before I start this video, thanks a lot. I keep on getting a lot of queries, and my issue is that I do it as a hobby, but above all is that I only answer one query or see one horoscope in a day, because that is all what you can do in a day. It is not only the techniques but also your intuition which is important. So it is technique and intuition is dependent on a lot of things which I would not go in details of. But therefore, I do not know how to see 10 horoscopes in a day. I am able to see one horoscope in a day, and that too a day which is, where I'm fairly not occupied, I'm free and in the right frame of mind. And you should also, plus I also take into consideration a lot of sankets which happened while you're reading a chart. Sometimes you're reading a chart and Shanker is blown. That's a very positive thing to have. Sometimes I've seen a chart somebody and earthquake has happened, and despite all the positive things I was seeing, things did not carve out well for that particular person. So sankets are also very important. So therefore, please forgive me for not answering to all your queries. But if you have any queries, you please write to me in my WhatsApp message. Mobile number is 98 187 33,000, 98 187 33,000. You can also go to my site shankarstudy.com, and also you can also put a query with all your details on a form which is there, which is askshanker.com, ASKSHANKER.com. If you type it in Google, you'll get a form. You can fill up, ask a query, and send it. So these are three ways, and in my site you have a lot of articles which you can read. So this is my respect to astrology. It's a subject of research for me. So with this, I come back to my topic, which is on combust planets first. So let me deal with combust planets. Let us go on the first basic principles. And the first basic principle is that what is a combust planet? A combust planet, to explain you, it comes near the sun, and therefore we say it is combust. And to explain you, it is like, kind of a big bulb which is there, which has a light of some 1,000 watts, and there is another bulb which comes near its periphery, which is of 100 watts. What would happen? You will not be able to see the bulb which is of 100 watts when it is very near to the periphery to that of the 1,000-watt bulb. Or you are walking, you're coming straight, and there is, let's say, a car which comes with both its headlights on, and the flashes on the light. What would happen to you? You would close your eyes, and for some time, and for that particular time, or for that moment, or what ultimate is, you will not be able to see what is there around you. So you get, with all this, what I want to explain you is, a combust planet is a planet which comes near the sun. Sun is the king, sun is the soul, and sun is the, your Atma, which is there. So a planet which comes I have taken this that combustion is at a degree of about 7 to 8 degrees. Planets, irrespective, I mean, sun and moon, uh, all planets leave Rahu and Ketu because Rahu and Ketu do not do not get combust. There are issues which we can discuss later. All other planets which are near moon, which are near sun, that is moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus. Whenever they're near sun, they get combust. And I say that the orb in which they get combust, I repeat, the orb in which they get combust is 7 to 8 degrees. I mean, beyond that, I would say that they are not entirely combust. They are not combust. They do not show very bad results. So, what is important is to see when a planet gives very bad results or results which are not good or results which are different. So, people say 5 degrees. I would say 5 degrees ideally, but giving it a little margin, I would say 7 to 8 degrees when any of the planets are near sun. My view is whenever a planet which comes near the orb of sun within 8 degrees, it loses its capacity, it loses its power of the house which it owns. There will be debility there will be problems there, they are not strong, and it also impacts the kartatva of that particular planet. Like Venus, people say it's always near sun, but I have seen always that whenever sun is combust with Venus, it will impact your, let's say in Kalpurush, it takes care of your second and seventh. So second is your family, seventh is your marriage and married life. Second is also for good food. It is also for the capacity of you to earn money. And seventh is all about business and partnership. So whenever sun gets combust with Venus, it will at some point, it will impact your married life, your relationship with partners in marriage and business, your capacity to earn money. I mean, you may work X amount but get something Y being much lesser than X. So, and it also will spoil your family life, your power to earn and accumulate wealth. It's not the power to earn wealth so much, but also power to accumulate wealth. So these things get afflicted. Now, if there are big Raj Yogas in a horoscope, I do not say that a person may not be wealthy, a person may not have money, a person will not get married. These are not sweeping statements which you have to make while doing astrology. But certainly when Venus is in 7 to 8 degrees of Venus is combust by sun, it will impact these areas. It will impact your marriage life, it will impact your family life, it will impact your power to accumulate wealth. I'm not saying that you may not be a rich man, because there could be some other yogas which could make you very rich. Similarly, it is Mercury, Moon. The Kartatva of Mercury is about writing, intelligence, your power to communicate with people, your power to do day-to-day working, your power to be competitive. These things get harmed. Whenever Moon gets combust, Mother, your mental, emotional attitude towards things, your emotions, your way of reacting to particular to a situation. You may start crying, you may get depressed. These are the Kartatva moons which gets afflicted. Jupiter and Saturn, whenever they are near Sun, Jupiter is the Karak which makes you wisdom. So you may do things which are not very wise. It will also affect your children, your fortune, your relationship with elders. I mean, Jupiter, it has a lot of things which also governs jail, hospital, and also spirituality. So these are things which get afflicted, which get negatively afflicted whenever Jupiter comes in close conjunction with Sun. And what is important is Jupiter at the end of the day is all about your knowledge, your understanding, your wisdom. So there's a lack of wisdom. The person doesn't act wisely at the right places. Saturn is karma, and whenever Sun is with Saturn, here I've seen at places the Sun and Saturn both are very big karmic planets. So they produce results which could make you do a lot of karma, but may not give you the results. Saturn again, will affect your profession, your prestige, your power to earn money. It may give you the potential to work very hard, but you may not be able to work that hard because there is a relationship between Sun and Saturn. So end of the day it will affect the Kartattva of Saturn. Also it will affect the lordship depending on the ascendant which has. I'm talking about the Kartattva which I've explained to you. So my view is that whenever planets are combust, they create issues, they lose their, the Kartattva gets lost. It also will affect the lordship which will depend on the ascendant. Here, one thing people keep on saying that, things would become better if Sun is the lord of good houses. If Sun is the lord of 10th house and a planet gets combust, it may give you exalted results. I've heard this. Or when Sun is the lord of 10th house and Mercury or any other planet gets combust, it may give you excellent results because it's the lordship of Sun which is important. No, Sun being the lordship of 10th house placed in a good place has its own impact. Don't confuse it. But suppose Sun combusts a planet, let's say Mercury, it will have an impact on the Kartattva of Mercury. Mercury doesn't rule your entire life. It will have an impact on the Kartattva of Mercury. But let's understand that if Sun is in the lord of a good house, it is not the lord of 6th, 8th, and 12th. It's the lord of a Kendra or Trikon, and it then combusts a planet. What happens is that it's something like two people fighting. A person fighting who is learned, who is intelligent, who knows how to speak English, who is well dressed, like somebody staying in South Bombay, in the posh colony of Bombay. They have a fight, and there is also a fight which may take place in Bombay, in Dharavi. The context may be the same, the reason may be the same, the outcome may be the same, the inputs may be the same, but there is a difference between how the two people will fight with each other when they are placed, when they are placed in a particular locality, because they have imbibed certain aspects of that particular place. So, a person staying in South Bombay in a posh colony, uneducated, may fight in a very sophisticated way. His way of, talking may be different. His way of, his abuses may be different than to a person who is a Dharavi. The issue may be the same. The input-output may be the same. But, the pipe which is there differs, and, the paraphernalia around it may differ. So that is the only difference it makes when Sun is the house of a lord of a Kendra Trikon, and it combusts other planets. That is what that is what is the nature of change which will happen. I have seen that it doesn't do anything more than that, which is there. It certainly has its negative impact. Yes. One more thing which I've seen is whenever Sun combusts planet, if a planet is combust and it is a negative planet, it is Markesh, or is the planet, it is a Markesh, or is it the negative planet? So when it finishes the power of that planet, which is a Markesh, which is a lot of 6th or 8th or 12th or even 3rd, or whichever it is, and your ascendant, it may be not be it may be acting as a functional, it may be acting as a malefic for your particular ascendant. Then when it gets combust, you have to see something that it finishes the negativity. it also burns the negativity. Just as it burns the positivity of a particular thing, it burns the negativity of a particular thing. So that negativity also you have to see. If a negative planet gets combust by sun, then its power to do negativity also reduces. Just as the power to do positive thing gets impacted, the power to do negative will also get impacted. So you have to see what the planet is and what is the lordship of the planet, both as functional benefic, functional malefic, and also in the ascendant. So if it is a negative planet, this is very important, and it gets combust, then the power to do negative also gets reduced. I mean, if there is a planet which has got the power to give you a lot of debts and it gets combust, then you will not take debts, or something will happen where debts will not be imposed on you, or let's say you will not be forced to take debts or fine, etc., etc. So I hope I've been able to explain this part of it, that the power to do negative will also get reduced in planets which have the power to do negativity, because just as the positive things get reduced and vanished, or get afflicted, get inflicted, so also the negative thing also will get burnt out when it is near the sun and it is combust. So combustion, this is what is my basic framework which I follow as far as combustion is concerned. But yes, horoscope is not only dependent on the planet which gets combust. It is a 360-degree chart. It has got a lot of other factors which have to be considered. This is just a particular pointer for you to understand things, the basics of which is very important. The second important thing which we come to is retrograde planets. Now, retrograde planets has been again a lot of issues have been discovered with retrograde planet, that they are weak. Somebody says they're strong. Somebody says the sudden results, etc., etc. But my impact, but what I see about retrograde planet is that a retrograde planet is what? It is a planet which gets outside the orbit of sun. That is, when it is beyond the fifth house. I mean, it is 150 degrees, and it is most powerful. The chest ball of the planet, when it increases, then the planet becomes retrograde and it gets outside the orbit of the sun. So sun is the king. Now what is the king? The king does what? It maintains structure and operating discipline. Structure and operating discipline, the rules which have to be followed. Let's understand in a plain way. That is what a king does. Now when a planet gets outside the orb of it getting governed by the rules of the land, suppose you are in a particular place in a country which has a rule of the land, and you come out of that particular place and come to a place where there is no rule, then you are the person who is making the rule. I mean, then you are outside the orb of that. So the planets which are retrograde are certainly very powerful planets. Now these powerful planets do positive things and negative things is a very important aspect of judgment, because be very sure, planets which are retrograde are powerful. Therefore, it is also said a debilitated planet, when it becomes retrograde, it becomes exalted. It does not become exalted, but it is strong. It's no more a debilitated planet. Now what happens is that when a planet is retrograde, it is also a part to explain you is that it is some karmic debt, some passion which you had in your journey of life. I mean, we are all going to leave the body. So it's the sun, it's the soul, and soul is represented by the sun, which migrates. It's an energy which migrates, and that is how astrology is all about. It is the travel of a particular piece of energy which migrates from one body to the other body. There are a lot of missing links that why a person born the same. I mean, which have to be understood, and which you have to understand it intuitively. But yes, we all have a migration path, and that is why a person born at the same time is born in the house of a billionaire, and a person born at the same time, same place, same surroundings is born to a person who doesn't have two square meals. So, but there is a pattern which is there, which I'm now deviating. So I come back to my planet, to my topic of retrograde planets. So retrograde planets have this strength, and there is something which you wanted to do which you have not done, is what the retrograde planet is all about. So two very important planets are like let's say Jupiter and Saturn. Now whenever you have Jupiter retrograde and Saturn retrograde, Jupiter retrograde is all about wisdom, how wise you are, how intelligent you are, how things you can. So you want to do things which are intelligent, you wanted to do things which are wise, you wanted to do something which was good for the society, you wanted to do something which you worked a lot for it, for a lot of period of time, but you've not been able to do it. So this is the time when Jupiter will be retrograde in your horoscope. You'll be wanting to do things which would be good for the society, which would be good for for your own. You will try to read, you will try to understand, you will try to be wise enough to do things which would be good, so that you are appreciated. That is your take in life. Similarly, when Saturn is retrograde, Saturn is about work. So you want to work. Everybody who has retrograde Saturn have this habit of working very hard. They want to work very hard to achieve something. They want to be on the move. If you tell a person Saturn retrograde not to work for 2 months and just sit down, he's off. So Saturn retrograde has this thing of working. Now that working could be right from spirituality to for your own self, for your money. I mean, we'll go to I'll just explain you the example later. But Saturn is something like that. Mercury is all about intellect, it's about paper, it's about communication. Venus is all about, medicine is about Venus. Venus is all about, communication, is also about food. It's also about partnership. I mean, Venus governs similarly a lot of karta, which I can keep on explaining. All this social media is also governed by Venus. So it's like Sun and Moon do not get retrograde. So, and Rahu and Ketu are always retrograde. So let's understand. So this is what you wanted to do in your last life, and you've not been able to do. So these are things which would come out, and you would work towards them. Like suppose somebody has Saturn retrograde in the second house, he would have this whole passion to work very hard, earn money, and to earn money and to store money, to accumulate money. That would be his passion. And if other yogas help him, he would be successful. He could be a billionaire. Jupiter in 11th house retrograde, he would like to, again, make gains, have relationship with people, do something by which he is known from, depending on how strong, the strong Jupiter is, depending on the depositor of, say, Jupiter in the 11th house, and his depositor is suppose it is Libra, and Jupiter is in 11th house retrograde, and you have Sun which is exalted in the 7th house. So this person's Sun is exalted, the depositor of Jupiter retrograde. So he would like to make a connection by which he is known not only in his friends but across the world. That would be his take in life. That would be his ambition in life to work, because the depositor gets very strong, it gets exalted. 7th house is maybe all about business and partnership, so legal, whatever. I mean, so he would be a man who would, but the desire of this man would be to become known internationally, and he may achieve it also. So it will depend on the Rashi which is there, the planets which are the 2nd, 12th, 6th, 8th, which are the planets which are supporting it, how strong it is. So that would be the inner. That is what retrograde planets actually do. They are something which you have not done, which tend to get fulfilled. Yes, retrograde planet I've also seen as that wherever they are placed, they tend to be not good for the live things, but they're good for non-live, because it is Kali Yuga. So this is one thing which I've seen in the karmic philosophy. I've seen, this is my experience over, for now 40 years I've been doing astrology. Like suppose Saturn is there in 5th house and it is retrograde. So what it does, it is 11th from 7th. I mean 11th, every house which is 11th from its own thing, like 7th house, the gain of 7th house is 5th house, because it is 11th from 7th. So it will not let you be very happy in your marriage. In partnerships, it will spoil the life things. It will spoil marriage. 5th house is for child. So children, there will be a problem. But it could be good for love affairs. It could be good for relationships. It could be good for speculation. So these are non-life things of the 5th house. So the retrograde planets will spoil the life things, but would be good for non-life things. Similarly, like you have Saturn retrograde in 2nd house, it may have problems. You may have problems with your family. I mean, a 2nd house is about your family, means 2nd house is kutum, it's the extended family. You may have problems with the extended family. There could be a breakdown in the structure of your extended family, which is not very relevant today in Kali Yuga, but yes, it would do that. So retrograde planets, my research says that, of course, one is you try to fulfill your karmic desires which you have been accumulating, and if you have a good credit entry of good karmas, they do get fulfilled, but they are good for life things. They are good for non-life things. I repeat, they are good for non-life things. They will make you achieve your non-life things wherever they are placed, and wherever they are placed, they will not be good for the life things. Like I told you, Saturn in 5th house will not be good for children. Saturn retrograde in 3rd house may not be good for brothers. Jupiter in 3rd house may not be good for brothers. So it will not be good for the life things. There will be some major issue with the life things where is placed, but will be good for non-life things, and that is how you will be propagating your energy for the non-life things, but life things are not in your control. They will get afflicted. So that is what is a scheme of karmas which is shown by retrograde planets. And lastly, I come to debilitated planets. Now, whenever we see debilitated planets, we say it's bad. But things have changed now. I mean, we have to see where we are today. What is the where are we? What is the situation today? We call it Desh Kal Patra. That today is Kali Yuga. It is not 1,000 years back. And I keep on saying 1,000 years back, Jupiter. I mean, some Treta Yoga, or whenever Ram was there. I mean, a sadhu, a person who was a person who meditated, a sadhu, a teacher, was very respected, and even a king used to come to receive a teacher, and therefore Jupiter was given a lot of importance. A teacher was given, but the same does not hold good today in the present situation. Therefore, when you're talking about debilitated planets today in Kali Yuga are very good, and one very important, Sun gets debilitated. Mars, there are two important planets. I'll explain you how they affect. I mean, let's say Mars is debilitated. Without Mars, we can do nothing in life. Mars has to be, when I talk about debilitation, I also again keep on repeating, everything which I've talked has to be seen whether the planet is well placed, the dispositor is well placed, the aspects are good, etc., have to be taken into consideration, because you're looking at a horoscope. But in this video, I'm trying to tell you about some pointers. So whenever, suppose Mars is debilitated, what it does is that in today's world, Mars is the commander-in-chief. I mean, Mars is always the executioner. Sun is the king, and Mars is the executioner. Sun is the person with, if you say pride and ego, what is the difference? Sun has pride, because Sun knows it is the king, it is what it is. But Mars is ego, because every day it has to perform. So it has to, keep on boosting its ego that it has to perform. So the executioner, I mean, in any company also, you have a person who thinks and a person who executes. So Mars is the executioner, which is there. So today, a debilitated Mars, a person which executes, today you may have to tell lies, you may have to do some cheating, you may have to do some planning which is different, you may have to tell your friend, Mars tells your friends, tell lie to a friend, and then ditch him later, etc. These things have become very important today to make you successful. You may have to speak less, you may not have to be very aggressive, in your talking, Mars is an aggressive person. You may not have to be straightforward today. So these are things which Mars actually depicts. But today, a debilitated Mars will make you a very soft-spoken guy, will make you a person who can think, we call it strategy, etc., and makes you more successful. So today, a debilitated planet in a lot of places acts as a positive input. Mars is something which is prone to anger. Today, anger is not good. Suppose you have a very strong Mars with a moon, you're a disaster, because Mars moon I've seen, I will put it in Instagram someday. It was a small thing. Mars moon is not a good combination. People have praised it a lot, but Mars, both tattvas are very different. It's a fiery, it's a watery tattva, and you have Mars and moon together makes a person emotionally unstable, makes him prone to anger if Mars is very strong. And if you're emotionally unstable, and if you are prone to anger, you can never become a leader. You will have more of enemies and less of friends. So, a debilitated Mars that way may be better be with moon as compared to a strong Mars with moon. Both are bad, but yes, a debilitated Mars will be better. So this is how you have to see planets today, is that debilitation necessarily is not bad today in present context. And Sun debilitation, today's Sun, the whole thing is changed, because Sun, previously there used to be Sun, which used to be like the king, and then used to be the farmer, the praja. That there used to be a difference which was not even thought of, and the king was the god. So now the things have changed. Today the king is also in a democratic setup. A king has to keep on working itself, manipulating things, doing a lot of things to remain in its power. So an exalted Sun, where he says, "I'm the king, I have the power, and I will do everything," etc., may make him a dictator, but not a leader, not a great person as it is perceived today in the present circumstances. So exalted Sun I've seen doesn't really give you great things. But yes, again, Sun and Mars are also the Kartattva of non-life things. This life. This is non-life. So being in the job, being a commander-in-chief, etc., Sun exalted. These are all what? These are non-life things. But they may, when Sun is debilitated, it will create problem for your life things. Your father relationship may not be good, your father may not be well placed. Similarly, when Mars is debilitated, you will have problem with your brothers. You may not be good relationship with your brothers. Similarly, Mercury is debilitated, it may not, you have problems with your sister, this thing, but you may be a good writer, you may be a good orator, so on and so forth. So you have to again see the live and the non-live aspects before you do any predictions in a particular thing. So these are the three things which always keep on people keep on asking is about combustion, retrogression, and debilitation. So these are pointers which I've given you. I don't know how long the video is, but I would now like to complete this. I had time today, so I did this. If you all like my video, like me, please subscribe to my channel. I'm 75,000. I want to make it 1 lakh in the next 1 week. Please do subscribe. I'll be very grateful to you. Tell your friends. Thanks. This around like number looks good. I have no monetary this thing to it, but that number looks very good to me. So that's my weakness. So anything you want to know about me, go to my website shankerstudy.com, and I will try to answer queries of people, but I told you one question, one horoscope a day whenever I get time, and I think anybody who does anything more than that is not doing justice to astrology. Thanks, and bye for now. Thank you very much. With this, end the video. Namaskar. Thanks.